You know what's fascinating? The idea that 95% of what we consider success in life actually comes from staying connected to something greater than ourselves. Today, we're exploring an ancient metaphor about vines and branches that completely changes how we view personal growth.
That's such an intriguing way to look at it. How does this vine metaphor challenge our modern obsession with self reliance?
Well, it's really quite counterintuitive. While we're constantly bombarded with messages about independence and self made success, this teaching suggests that trying to produce fruit on our own is actually impossible.
You know what strikes me about that? The timing of when Jesus shared this metaphor. It was during his final moments with his disciples before everything changed.
Exactly right. And that context is crucial. He knew they were about to face incredible challenges, so he wasn't just giving them a nice agricultural lesson, he was preparing them for survival.
Hmm. That reminds me of how grapevines work in nature. The branches don't just casually connect to the vine, they're completely dependent on it for everything: water, nutrients, life itself.
And here's what's really fascinating: the text talks about two types of pruning. There's the removal of completely dead branches, but then there's also this strategic pruning of healthy branches to make them even more productive.
That's such a challenging concept in our comfort obsessed culture. Nobody likes the idea of being pruned.
Right. And yet the evidence suggests that people who've gone through significant pruning seasons often end up producing the most meaningful impact. Think about some of the most influential figures in history. Many faced intense opposition or difficulties that shaped them.
So, what you're saying is that the discomfort might actually be a sign of growth rather than something going wrong.
Exactly. And here's where it gets really interesting. The text suggests that this pruning process isn't random, it's strategic, purposeful, and done with intimate knowledge of each branch's potential.
That's fascinating. It's like the difference between destructive cutting and skillful pruning by someone who knows exactly what they're doing.
The ancient audiences would have immediately understood this because viticulture was such a huge part of their culture. A good vine dresser was incredibly valuable precisely because they knew exactly where and how to prune.
Well, that adds a whole new dimension to understanding why Jesus chose this particular metaphor.
And here's another surprising element: the text talks about how remaining connected to the vine actually changes what we want. It's not just about getting what we ask for, it's about our desires themselves being transformed.
That's quite different from how this concept is sometimes presented, like some kind of spiritual vending machine where you just put in the right prayer and get what you want.
Exactly. And speaking of transformation, there's this fascinating paradox where the more connected we become to the vine, the more opposition we might face from the world around us.
That's such an important point. The text is pretty direct about expecting resistance, isn't it?
Yes, and here's what's particularly interesting. It suggests that this opposition isn't just random difficulty, but actually a sign that real transformation is happening. It's like a verification that you're genuinely connected to the vine.
Though I imagine we need to be careful about how we interpret that. Not every difficulty is necessarily persecution.
That's such an important distinction. The text actually makes it clear that we shouldn't confuse opposition to offensive behavior with genuine persecution for faith.
You know what I find really encouraging, though? Even while warning about opposition, there's this incredible promise of friendship with the divine.
Yes, and that's perhaps the most revolutionary part. This isn't just about producing good works, it's about intimate relationship. The fruit flows from friendship.
That really turns the typical religious paradigm on its head, doesn't it?
Absolutely right. Instead of starting with rules or requirements, it starts with relationship. Everything else, the fruit, the impact, even the ability to handle opposition, flows from that connection.
So, in essence, we're talking about a complete reframing of what success and productivity actually mean.
Precisely. And here's the really liberating part: when we understand this, it takes all the pressure off trying to manufacture results. Our job isn't to produce fruit, our job is to stay connected.
That's beautiful. So, it's really about identity before activity, being before doing.
You've captured it perfectly. And as we wrap up, I think that's the key insight. True transformation isn't about striving harder, but about staying connected to something greater than ourselves.